Hey guys, how's it going? We've got some new Hearthstone stuff. Wailing Caverns is going to be the mini set for the Barons. We kind of called this out a couple weeks ago when there was some data leaks on it, and with Razorfen Crawl and Razorfen's Downs already kind of being part of Forged in the Barrens, the only other thing left in the Barrens to cover in regards to like dungeons was Wailing Caverns. So those of you who are familiar with WoW, you'll know that Wailing Caverns is a very fun, very early game dungeon normally for the Horrid. We do have a couple spicy cards that have been released thus far. They gave us a little sneak peek at what we can expect. But right now we've got the Devoured Dungeoneer. It's a 3-mana 2/3 priest card, battle cry, draw a spell. If it's a holy spell, reduce its cost by 2. To me, this just seems really good. Like it, I don't know why you wouldn't play this in your priest deck. Most of the priest cards are holy, right? Like renew, like I guess renew getting reduced by 2 doesn't really matter. But I feel like most of the priest spells, like palm reading, I'm pretty sure is holy, right? Insight, I'm pretty sure is holy. This just seems like a pretty decent draw priest card. Like it's a 3-mana 2/3. I like the fact that it's not a 3/3, and it actually like its stats reflect that its ability is good. And for the longest time, as we know, Hearthstone is a big breaker of the rule of just like low mana cost, great stats, insane ability, and that's what makes like a really good card, right? So minions actually having to cost mana in regards to like diminishing stats for a somewhat powerful ability is something I would like obviously like to see moving forward. Next we have the Devourer. This card is spicy as fuck. All right, so it's a 7-mana 4/4 Murloc. Battle cry, eat a minion in your opponent's hand and gain its stats. So first off, obviously you look at this card being very solid in control decks, control warrior, possibly priest. Right now, those decks have a really hard time versus stuff like the Ticketus Warlock, the OTK Demon Hunter, and basically being able to play a card that somewhat disrupts your opponent's hand. So when you play against one of those OTK decks that your deck's normally weak to, you can kind of wait till when you think they have some of those OTK pieces in their hand, and then you can play this guy. And then because it gains the stats, you can know if it hits like, so if it hits Loganoth, you know the Loganoth stats are 2/6. So if this guy turns into a 6/10, you know you just hit their Loganoth and they can't do their combo. You'll know if you hit a Moarg or a Talented or whatever like that. So this seems like a really nice card. If it hits, you know, Ticketus, you take care of the 8/8, and this guy's stats will be a 12/12. So overall seems really good. Also, you could think of it possibly in deck of Chaos Warlock, and it's a neutral, so it can be played in all of the different classes, which gives all classes the viability and ability to be able to have some sort of like combo stopper. Plus its artwork is really nice. Like its artwork is good. All right, the next one is the Frostweave Dungeoneer. So apparently we're seeing Dungeoneers just like we saw like the caravans that saw literally no play. Maybe the Dungeoneers will also see no play if they're continuously to be as bad as this one. So this is a 3-mana 2/3 battle cry. Draw a spell. If it's a frost spell, summon 2 1/1 elementals that freeze. I mean, it's good if you're like playing if you get like a frost spell, but right now there's not like many frost spells that you're just like, you have like brain freeze, right? And maybe cone of cold. But like freeze mage doesn't have like, they keep pushing these like freeze archetypes. We've seen them before trying to do like freeze shaman with Muzaki, that guy, and like the frozen axe, and they continuously print all this frost support, but it's just not like, I know in WoW there's like fire mages, frost mages, and arcane mages, and all of them have like different rotations, different specs, and different viabilities. But in Hearthstone, like you can't just, it just seems like a waste of a card slot here. Like you could have made this like draw a secret, draw a 3-mana card or less. You know what I mean? Do something else. Make this, I don't know. I just feel like this was a complete waste of a card. Like, you could have made this card cool, but they continue to give bad archetypes pretty shitty support. So maybe Freeze Mage will be good, but I mean, right now it has no win condition. Maybe if we see cards like Icelands come back, maybe it could be good. But I mean, we even have the new Mage Legendary that supports the freeze, right? It does 4 damage. If cards are frozen, it does 4 damage, and if they're not frozen, it freezes them. So, and then we have the Primal Dungeoneer. This one actually seems absolutely nuts, and probably, I mean, the best one that we've seen so far in regards to the Priest one and the Mage one. This is the 3-mana 2/3 again. Stats line up to exactly how the other ones were before, but it's Battle Cry, draw a spell. So you do that automatically. And if it's a nature spell, which in Shaman decks, most of the spells in Shaman are nature spells, like 9 out of 10 times, you also draw an elemental. So this is a fantastic card for the Elemental Shaman. The only thing that I have to say about this card is that Shamans already have a shit ton of 3-drops. When I was noticing when I built a lot of my Shaman decks, 3-drops was the highest like just mana card that's in the deck, because you have like Storm Strike, you have Serpent Portal, you have quite a few 3-drop elementals that you're going to want to weave in there. So 3 mana seems to be like a really hot spot for Shaman. So granted that all the Dungeoneers have been 3 mana so far, and then the as we know, the Caravans were 2. It's hard to like, you know, say this should be 4 mana or 5 mana or whatever the case may be, but like 3 mana is already a hot spot for Shaman. So that's my only problem with this card. But besides that, this card is absolutely a staple in Shaman. Shaman has currently no draw at all besides Mana Tide Totem, and that shit sucks. So this and Shaman, absolutely good. Like this 100% will see play. Very good card. Very, very good card. All right, and we do have 4 more cards here. These are translated off a Russian video. So again, we're gonna keep these. Most likely these are what they do, but again, there could be some discrepancies, but most of the time they're pretty right about this, and I wanted to cover them as they are you know, all new cards. I didn't want to just do 4. We might as well tackle all 8 that are out. So the first one's being the Lady Anachondria, and she's a 6 mana 3/7. Your nature spells cost 2 less. I mean, sure, most of the time Druid stuff costing less doesn't matter, because in my opinion, they already have a shit ton of ramp. They've got Innervates, they've got the Blooms. They have no problem playing things for either expensive mana early on, or early on just basically cheating mana, overloading a buff, or overloading a ton, and then just wiping the floor with you. So I don't really see where she comes into effect. Obviously, maybe some sort of like OTK. She says cost 2 less, which means the nature spells can cost 0. I don't like the fact that they didn't make her say like your nature spells cost 2 less, but can't cost less than 1. It should be 1 is the lowest, just because you know if she's ever a problem, that's the change they're already gonna make to her. So you might as well just make the change to her that you can already assume that there's gonna be some sort of broken shit with her in the future that requires her to be changed to it can't be less than 1. So I think that should be tackled. But besides that, like I don't look at her and think like, wow, this is like innovative shit. I just think that this is another card that maybe will be a problem. If not, it'll be like Aviana, that literally saw no play at one point and then saw play in an OTK deck and then got fucking changed, or some other shit got changed. I don't know. I think we could have done better with a Druid Legendary card. From there, we have a neutral card, the 3 mana 3/2 Fluffy Pilgrim Ooze Death Rattle. Summon a 2/2 Pilgrim with a random effect. So apparently these random effects are basically Divine Shield, Wind Fury, Taunt, Poisonous, things of that nature. It's just a card, basically keyword, that gets attached to one of the 2/2s. Again, you know, I don't know set in stone yet, but this is what basically has been talked about. And if I'm wrong on this, hey, these are translated cards. I'm just trying to cover it for you guys sooner rather than later. But yeah, I don't really like that at all. Again, just another form of just like, hey, I high rolled, I got a Wind Fury, and then I buffed him up, and now I hit you in the face for 12 damage when it was just a 2/2 that came off a 3/2. So Again, I don't like these high swings, because some games like getting a 2/2 taunt just sucks, right? You'd much rather have lifesteal or poisonous or some other keyword, and then you hit taunt. It's like, okay, well, that's the worst one. But if you play Face Hunter and you hit taunt, it's like, oh my god, he's so lucky. So it's just like, again, just unnecessary variance for, in my opinion, absolutely no reason, printed into a low mana costed card. You don't want to have high variance, low mana cost cards, because those create early game swings. And again, early game swings are when Hearthstone is its most volatile, and we basically determine who the winner of the game is. That's why like Vicious Fledgling was kind of out of hand. It was a 3 mana card that, left unchecked, if it got Wind Fury, could win the game by turn 5. Not that that's like the perfect example, but again, just a low mana, high impact card that, like, if you just high roll into the RNG of hitting Wind Fury, you're just like, okay, I'm better than you. We have the 8 mana 4/9 Beast, Fluffy Wing Snake. After you cast a nature spell, summon a 4/2 snake with rush, as this ability is pretty cool. And as we know, like after casting a nature spell, and then we have the legendary card, which is like your nature spells cost 2 less. I just don't think for an 8 mana card, having to then follow it up with other cards to make it good is a good way. I don't think it'll see any play. I think it's just a really shitty card. Obviously it'll see play if it comes off stuff like Cenarian Ward. You'll see this card get played. No one's gonna actually play this card. And again, it's just because it costs a lot of mana and you have to then do something to even make the card good. And most 8 mana, 7 mana, 9 mana, 10 mana cards, when you play the card, it does something immediately regardless of doing any other thing. And this card does not follow that suit at almost at all. And then we have the 7 mana Fluffy Pilgrim spell. Summon 5 2/2 pilgrims with random effects. And as we know, these 2/2s will basically be a mix of random lifesteal, taunt, poisonous, whatever just random keyword shit. So if they get all divine shield, it feels pretty bad. We've seen Paladin with their token generations before, whether it be a day at the fair or a stand against darkness and things like that. So making tokens for anywhere between, they have a 3, a 5, and now a 7 mana 1. But it's weird to have like Paladin be the one that's like creating random pilgrims. You know what I mean? Like, why Paladin? But yeah, whatever. I'm not excited about any of these cards. Like, none of these cards literally excite me at all. Completely random bullshit. Shitty card. Random bullshit. Very boring. Fine. Fun. Trash. Fine. Pretty underwhelmed so far with what we have here, to be completely honest. But we still have quite a few more cards to go, and hopefully they add a little bit more flavor to this. Because if the Murloc is the spiciest card that we get this time around, this won't change the meta at all. I mean, this will probably make Shaman better by like a decent amount, but I mean, I guess if you just keep printing better Shaman cards and you just make other cards just like bad, like just unplayable, like no one in Mage is gonna play this. Priest maybe will play this, probably, and then the rest of these are just like useless besides this one. Like, I don't know, it seems like kind of a waste. Anyway, with that, what do you guys think of these cards? This is literally our first look into the Wailing Caverns, and yeah, these are exciting times. Always getting new cards is fun. Obviously, with mini sets, there's not as many cards as full-blown expansions. Expansions are pretty hype as hell. Mini sets are supposed to just add that little bit of hype until the next expansion comes out. So hopefully we get some more flavor here, but interested to hear what you guys have to say. With that, of course, I'm Robert Warshak. Thanks for watching. Happy whatever the hell day it is.